What's up guys, Nathan here. GGG just announced the details of Path of Exile's latest expansion, Legion. As per popular demand, I wanted to make a video going over my thoughts on the reveal, as well as make some predictions about what we can expect to come. So without further ado, let's take a look at the trailer. Legion seems to be a more updated and feature-rich breach. You encounter timeless monoliths that spawn massive armies, and it's up to the player to decide how many of these enemies to unfreeze and take on. GGG is claiming this is going to offer an excellent sense of player agency, and I personally have to agree. Being able to decide exactly how difficult you want these encounters to be is an amazing design decision, and I can't wait to see the build variety this encourages. To continue the breach parallels, it seems the primary rewards for these events consist of timeless splinters. Collect 50 of these and you'll be granted a timeless emblem for the appropriate army. Things start to get interesting when you put them in the map device, as you can use anywhere from 2 to 5 emblems to generate a battle for you to intervene in. And yes, you heard me right. Through currently unknown means, we'll be gaining an additional slot in the map device, which will allow us to use one more fragment or scarab for our regular endgame activities. While the details of exactly how these endgame scenarios will play out remain shrouded in mystery, the rewards we have to look forward to do not. The first of these rewards are called Incubators, which act as sort of a meta currency item that can be used to modify equipable gear, including uniques. They can add kill counters to your items, and when those counters are reached, they basically pop out whatever the incubator promised. These include divination cards, currency items, unique weapons, and likely much, much more. The second reward to look out for are the new timeless jewels. Much like threshold jewels, they are placed in the passive tree, but rather than gaining additional effects based on nearby passive nodes, they completely alter said nodes to fit their own devices. For example, in Ziggy D's preview video, we can see a Vol-themed Timeless Jewel transforming the +1 Frenzy node near the Ranger's start to 9% increased maximum life and 0.4% of attack damage leached as life. Plus, these jewels will have a large range of possible roles and effects, so we likely haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg. Just to drive this point home, characters in Path of Exile are fundamentally balanced around the skill tree. Having to travel further to get weapon-specific damage nodes, more life, crit, and other benefits are a huge part of what makes certain builds tick. If the possible rolls on these timeless jewels are even half as impactful as the previews we've seen thus far, I predict this is going to be the biggest metagame shakeup we've ever seen. The last League-specific information I want to touch on are the revamped uniques. According to the Legion reveal page, 15 existing uniques have been chosen to be reworked into powerful endgame rewards. It's hard to say exactly how relevant these will be, but I'm personally excited for Vol's Protector, which now grants the new Inner Conviction Keystone for increased spell damage per power charge. All in all, I'm beyond satisfied with this new League mechanic. It's simple enough to understand from the trailer, promotes player agency, and seems to have an extremely robust endgame reward system, which is exactly where I like my complexity. Of course, it's far too early to decide whether it'll be as fun as it looks, but I'm optimistic. Speaking of optimistic, let's talk about the upcoming Melee rework. In the official reveal, we didn't get many details about how Melee is being improved. They basically rattled off a long list, including tidbits such as instant movement skills, free melee splash, better targeting, animation overhauls, and uncapped accuracy. Luckily, the awesome guys over at Bayclast got a chance to sit down with the co-founder of GGG, Jonathan Rogers, for an in-depth preview of the upcoming changes. I highly recommend checking it out, but if you don't have an hour and a half to spare, here are the major takeaways. Animation canceling is now a thing. In short, this means you will be able to issue a new command in the middle of your skill animations. This can mean changing your mind about an attack right before it hits, starting another attack more quickly than before, and the game just feeling more responsive in general. This looks very similar to how MOBA players cancel their auto attacks repeatedly to make sure they only go off when they want them to. All single target melee skills have a built-in splash roughly the size of your character's reach. This isn't going to be anywhere near as good as melee splash support or Slayer splash, but it will go a long way to improve the feel of killing packs of enemies in the early game. The animation speed and range of skills have been adjusted to be more visually accurate. Jonathan used the example of Cyclone, which now has an updated animation that very clearly depicts the range of the skill. Cyclone has also been reworked to be a channeled skill and feel much better, but we'll have to wait on the gem info for more concrete details. Attack gems now come with some flat base damage to reduce reliance on weapon upgrades. They will still scale heavily with GG weapons in the endgame, but this should make early leveling feel smoother, especially without access to twink gear. Some of the new skill gems being added include new low-level defensive tools. Dash is a skill that teleports you a short distance away on a cooldown, and Steel Skin is a skill that prevents a large percentage of damage you take for the next second or so, up to a certain threshold. Additionally, all movement skills start up instantly, with this effect tapering off if you spam it. To further encourage players to dodge incoming attacks, many early game enemies have been reworked to have bigger tells, but also deal more damage. Hitboxes have been improved, animations have been adjusted, and the first 3 acts have been revamped to be more representative of modern Path of Exile gameplay. Underutilized melee skills have been buffed and reworked to better fit their niche applications. For example, with the help of new attack chaining technology, Glacial Hammer now has a 3-hit sequence with the last hit granting greatly increased freezing capabilities, so much so that Jonathan proposed you might now even expect to be able to freeze bosses. All weapon classes have been given their own support gems, and new base types for caster daggers and attack staves have been added to the game. We don't know much more, but Jonathan did mention we can look forward to support gems that benefit the slow but hard-hitting playstyle that Path of Exile seriously lacks right now. Stunning is getting support all over the place. Physical and attack skills will now stun far more often than their elemental and spell-based counterparts, and Leap Slam and Shield Charge now have even more guaranteed stunning properties. The goal here is mostly to improve the feel and responsiveness of melee, but I suspect stun builds in general might find a bigger place in the meta than before. Accuracy has been reworked in a couple of ways. First of all, the formula has been adjusted so that it's much easier to get a reasonable amount of accuracy, so much so that a generic left side of the tree character can expect to hit 90% hit rate with minimal investment. Additionally, accuracy is also being uncapped, so hitting 100% hit rate on your undeniable juggernauts is probably something you can expect. Anyway guys, I'm sorry for talking your ears off, but this announcement has got me beyond excited. I expected a smaller league, probably around the scale of Incursion, but it instead seems like we're getting so much more. The mechanic looks fun and engaging, the rewards look interesting and complex, and the melee rework has turned out to be an entire overhaul of how the game feels to play. If this video wasn't enough to get you hyped, make sure you check out the official trailer, Ziggy D's preview video, and Bayclast episode number 40 for more information. Once again, this game is being turned on its head, and I can't wait to see how it all shakes out. This has been Nathan, thanks for watching, and have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you!
Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I'm going to try to do this part quickly because this video needs to get out. I want to thank my Patreon supporters, Real Human, Pete, Zikrak, Squally, Zolja, Coda, Julia, Alan, Kepler, Fusk, Putzak, and Ori. Also, if you want to check out my Patreon, it's patreon.com/NathanBrotherBob. My Instagram is @NathanWalkerYT, and my Discord is right there in the bottom right-hand corner if you want to hang out and talk to other PoE players and me and PoE players, pretty much. Anyway, thanks again. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys soon.